On this, we can cross to our correspondent Guillaume Meyer, who was listening in Washington. You heard what he had to say there, Guillaume. What can we take from Mr. Holder's statement?
Well, first of all, the investigation is ongoing, as Attorney General Holder explained. That means that there may be other people connected to that case, and the authorities in the U.S., of course, will question the man they have now arrested to see whether or not he was working with other people, and if they can now try and move on and arrest those people he was working with. The other important information, of course, is that the man they arrested is an American citizen of Pakistani descent, and he was at the airport when he was arrested by federal officials. That means that he was trying to flee the country quite possibly, and of course that is very interesting for the authorities. They now believe that this man they have arrested is the man who bought the vehicle that was left in New York's Times Square on Saturday night. That does not mean that he acted alone. There could have been other people connected to the case and who helped him set up that bomb, and that is why they are trying, of course, to gather as much information as possible to see if there are other people connected to the case and if they can be arrested over the next few days.
What more do we know about the man who was arrested, Guillaume?
Well, we know that he is an American citizen, but of Pakistani descent, and the authorities do have phone records showing that he made several phone calls overseas, possibly to Pakistan. He also just came back from a trip to Pakistan. Of course, that is very interesting for federal officials because, of course, there is significant American activity in Pakistan with U.S. drones flying over northern Pakistan, of course, targeting Taliban militants there in northern Pakistan. So we do know that he came back from that country and that he has been communicating with people there since he returned to the United States. Of course, and now the other big question is whether or not he acted alone, and that, of course, is exactly what the Americans are trying to figure out right now. They also want to know if he was part of a real serious network, or if it's something more improvised by a man or a group of people that is not really part of a bigger group like Al-Qaeda, for example.
Now, we heard the U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder there saying things like that the deadly intent was clear in this attempted bombing and that every resource was now available and was being put towards this investigation. How seriously are authorities there taking what has happened in Times Square, especially in light of, obviously, 9/11?
Well, of course, the very fact that Eric Holder is holding a press conference in what is the middle of the night in Washington tells you that this administration wants to show that they're hard at work on that case. They want to solve it as fast as possible. Of course, what is really convenient for them is that the bomb did not explode. And, of course, that left a whole bunch of clues as to who bought the car, where the car came from. There is possibly DNA, fingerprints all over this car. And that, of course, will help the authorities in trying to figure out who is connected to that case. Of course, that man they arrested and who ever could have been working with him. And that is why the investigation has been going so fast. It's simply because there is so many clues left on that car that is really, really, really helpful for the federal officials working on that case. And then, of course, Eric Holder explained he wants the American people to feel safe, and that is why you can expect that a lot of energy will be spent on this investigation to make sure that if there are still terrorists on the loose, they will be caught fairly soon.
All right, Guillaume Meyer in Washington standing by for us. Thank you very much indeed for that. And of course, we'll bring you the very latest on this story as it develops throughout the morning here on France 24.